Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some special content today. I just got my series done for Smog on Tour 29 playoffs. I have a long history in playoffs. It started all the way back during Smog on Tour 18 when I got a bit unfortunate against McMegan, but that was fine because I put myself on the map finally. Um, Between then and then, I also lost to Solent in the first round. Then I made a run all the way into the finals, where I got kind of unlucky against Zamag as well, but it was a kind of a complicated set. I definitely made some mistakes in that series, so also was on me there. Then the next one, I beat Twixter in round one, but I lost to Luigi, who ended up winning the whole thing. I was favored in a Combine War game one, and he got the crit first, despite me having a couple turns on him. But whatever. Those kind of games, that's kind of how ORS games go. Sometimes it's fine. Next season was last season, where I got McMegan again in round one, and he beat me fair and square in ORS, and then he got like some 1 in 100 stuff in SM. So unfortunately, I don't have the trophy under my belt, but this season I felt as confident as ever, despite Black White no longer being in it. I managed to put up 55 points in qualifiers, I believe, which is good enough for one of the top 10 points totals of all time for regular season. It was still only good enough for the third seed, but I was feeling really confident. So coming to the series, I'm against Corazan. Corazan's a bit of a newer player in the tournament community. He's French, but he did really well in Smog on Stake Draft recently in both OU and UU. I think he went 3-0 in SMOU in particular. But that aside, he hasn't really done a ton. I think he had one negative World Cup. But yeah, not super well known, but he's definitely a capable player. So game one is SMOU. And right off the bat, he's using this really interesting team. I'm absolutely shocked he brought Zard Y plus Pursue specifically with Scarf Weavile because, well, honestly, it just makes no sense to use this against me because I use Chansey and I use Toxapex more than anyone else. So bringing Zard Y, I'm just completely shocked. And the thing is that Banded Weavile would make some sense because at least he could trap like Mega Latias and could force an issue on Chansey. But Scarf Weavile is just so pitifully weak, and I don't even use Mega Zam much at all anymore. So honestly, I feel like he kind of just either picked a team on random or was just saying, okay, this is like the cheesiest team I got, so I might as well bring it. I don't really know how to make sense of it, honestly, but fortunately for him, I was very weak to Zard Y. My team is very specially defensive. Rotom Wash with Z Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Willow Wisp, Recover, and then a Pain Split. Sorry, it's a Defog, Toxic, Earthquake, Roost, Gliscor with a lot of special defense as well. Um, Hash Greninja, specially defensive Heatran. It only has like a little speed just from Mawile, and then plus special defense, max special defense, pretty much. Yeah. Tornado's T with close to max speed, but not quite max speed. So some special defense and max speed, and then a Rocky Helmet on Tangrowth. And I was annoyed because right before the game, I had Sleep Powder on that Tangrowth, and Sleep Powder would have hit Sarn and surprised it. But I changed it to Earthquake, so I was really paranoid about substitute Mawile because bringing things like Mawile makes sense, I guess, because they break the courses. Bringing Zard Y, I didn't expect it at all because of every SSU player, I just have the most likelihood to bring Toxapex, me and ABR probably, in a random game than pretty much anyone. So I was just really shocked when I saw this team preview, kind of taken aback. So I took him in. I'm like, okay, this is a huge uphill climb, but with some luck with Tornado's T, I could maybe push my way through. Rotom Wash does look pretty good if I time my Z move well. And also, if I'm able to cripple that Finny, then my Greninja can do very well. So forcing damage on that could be good, but I don't think he's going to let me do that. As for some things, I thought this was an ABR team, which had Scarf, Landorus, Rocks, Heatran, Banded Weavile, Z, Defog, Kartana, Defog, Finny, and Zard Y. An ABR team built a while ago, but Corazon actually changed the sets, and he made the team. Wow, I'm coming off as so rude to Corazon, and for the record, I don't dislike this dude. He's a really nice guy, but he made the team a lot worse, just to be completely honest, by making it Scarf Weavile. He made the Z steal on the Cartana for no real reason because his whole team manhandles Tornado's T as is. But I digress. And the trans no longer rocks, which is fine. Making the Landorus rocks is okay, but like relying on Scarf Weavile, which is an awful Pokemon, is just not ideal. And I think he kept the Finny and Zard the same, which is good. But yeah, really weird executive decisions from him. Really weird team choice, but it definitely matched up well. So let's see if I can play my way around the Zard Y. I lead Rotom W knowing it tanks a Solar Beam and also matches up well against most things. He returns any crypt, so now all of a sudden I'm in timid Solar Beam range always, which kind of sucks. I do get a Volt Switch off in this. I kind of wanted to Hydra there with the Tukio, but I was never going to Z there. I U-turn here as he stays in, and I'm kind of baffled by this because not only did he stay in, but he didn't even go for a move to kill me, like predicting a knockoff maybe. he just recovers up, which I think he could have really done with other points, but whatever. That works for him. So now I predict some sort of switch there. So I go to turn here and I try to get a Hurricane off into the Zard. Unfortunately, I miss. He reveals he's timid or modest and got absolute max damage with that flamethrower. So I U-turn here. I go to Tran. He predicts that and Focus Blast, which is a good play by him. Thankfully for me though, he misses. Focus Blast is doing around like 57, 58% on average. I think the max is like 64, 65. But I have a ton of special defense, so I could have, in theory, pivoted around. He would have had to get multiple predictions right and hit multiple Focus Blasts in theory to take this trend out this early on in the game, pretty much. So, fortunate start for me, but I missed a 50% move, which would have potentially put him around half health and probably could have forced a roost. And he crit the U-turn to put me in solar beam range, so I can't really say I feel bad at this point at all. Um, oh, sorry, my phone went off there. Anyway, I go for Toxic here, hoping he misplaces this, and he goes Finny, but that's fine. Finny doesn't really pressure me. I just go Tornadoes T here. So it gives me a free generator. I'm scared of Scarf, though. I still think it's Rock Tram and Scarf. So he goes for U-turn, though. Um, I'm just thinking it's a defensive Scarf set after the U-turn damages on both Road and W and on my other things. Anyway, he gets some Weavile in here, and here's a really important play. I predict him to predict T-Tran or Greninja and go for a knockoff. So I stand to get an Earthquake off because I know there's no way he Ice crashes this early. It also took care of the Rotom Wash and potentially defensive. But yeah, I figured it'd reveal that was. I also thought on the off chance he did click an ice move. I had no I couldn't win the game if I lost leftovers on Heatran. And Greninja has a chance of winning the game with weakened Finny, so I knew I had to make a ton of risks in this game. I just had to time them well, and this was the first one. So I stay in and I Earthquake knowing that he's not going to go for that Ice Blue Crash. So I get that play right, thankfully. And now I'm so scared of him being a Z variant, just I'm not positive that Cartana Z. So I switch out to Heatran here, expecting potential Ice move. But he goes Landorus here, so that pretty much confirms he's Scarf. Now I got my Gliscor here, and I know this isn't Z. I'm fairly certain after clicking rocks that it's just a bulky set with Rocky Helmet or Pinch Berry. So he goes U-turn as I just defog, and he brings Zardwine, which is kind of bizarre because I know he's modest even the damage before, so I always live that. For some reason, he goes back to Tornado Team, let's take a Toxic, and these are just both really bad misplays from him. He loses nothing in going Weavile and forcing the same sequence he did before, or going to Finny to get Terrain up. But I digress. He lets me get this Toxic, which is huge. Now, I predict him to just go for some sort of rocks or U-turn. I want to get damage off. He goes hard Y here as he U-turns in my Tornado T. Again, I miss, so yeah, if he felt he was unlucky before, then it's definitely evened out now because I missed both my 50-50 moves. I U-turn here to Gliscor predicting Focus Blast, and he goes for that, and he misses. But again, it wouldn't even put me in the flame range in without Sun. So then he goes Finny there. As I go Tornado T, just get some Regenerator up. I'm picking the momentum up really well at this point, and now I go for a U-turn. I kind of wanted to knock there, but I was scared of him going to Weavile, so the U-turn was better. Anyway, he reveals his Protect, which, see, I didn't expect him to Protect because my variant of the team that I expected, which albeit he had deviated from a little bit, given that he's Rock Landorus, but my variant didn't have Protect on Landorus, so I wasn't sure. So I went for the Z here. In hindsight, that's probably the only true mistake I made this game, but I don't even think it was a mistake because the odds of him A, expecting me to be Z Hydro, which is far less common than Z Electric, and B, so if we go for it there, were really slim. So if he stays in, or if he switches to Cart, which he did before, which makes sense because Misty trains up and he's recover move, then he can get blown back. So I don't think this was a misplay. It just wasn't the best timing for it in the context of how he played. So that's fine, though. I still get some chip, and I now can tell he's a very special defensive Tran. So he's probably just Magma Storm, Earth Power. He goes for Toxic, predicting me to stay in. Didn't work out. I go back to Rotom W predicting either a switch or a protect. That's fine because Volt Switch out damages 2 protects with leftovers. So yeah, I'm just fine with this. I get a full RD of his set. He's definitely not very fast either. So I get more Volt Switch chip here for 17%. Go right back to Gliscor. And I'm trying to stall Magma Storms. If he goes for Toxic again, which I can't say I really understand. This time around, I actually think he might get cute and stay in. And if he gives me the Tran, then my Tornado T goes off in this game because Pursuit from Weavile is so weak. But I go to the Rotom here, and now I make a really cool play here. So I know he's not going to go for Leaf Blade with the full health Physically Defensive Tangrowth, full health Heatran, and full health after Generator. I'm turning to see here. I also know, even if he's Z-Grass, which is the import that I have had, he's not going to go for that either. I think he's going to go for a knockoff in particular, or a double switch out to something like Zard Y, predicting Tornadoes or the Tangrowth. Because of that, I really just feel I need to stay in here and Volt Switch. I can't risk letting this get in pursuit range for some reason. I can't let Zard Y in so many times. It's still a 6 Focus Blast PP and 22 Flamethrower PP. And honestly, he might not let me get a Toxic out of ever. So buying Tornado's Confusion, which I've already taken 2 chances at getting, and unfortunately haven't, or forcing a lot of roots and just like timing everything well. I need to force damage on that Zard Y. I need to be a step ahead. So I stay in here and Volt Switch, figuring, okay, worst case scenario, he just goes for knock. Best case scenario, I catch that. And he goes for Z Steel, which makes no sense here. No sense at all. Because I really think Tornado is a horrible play for me here. But also, Z Steel isn't a 100% chance to kill me. And he knows I'm a bulky Tornado at this point. But that coupled with the fact that my Tangrowth is obviously physical defensive with AV on the Tornado T, there's just no way in hell he goes. Yeah, he does much damage with that Corkscrew Crash. Even at +2, it wouldn't kill it. And I haven't revealed if Midbar 5 hit my ice yet. So this Corkscrew made no sense to me. I figured Knock would make sense, but he didn't go for either. He went for Corkscrew. So I only take 23 there, and I Volt Switch out, and I'm just looking like I'm really outplaying him here. But I don't even think that was outplayed. I think that was a really bad misplay from him. He goes Train here, and I go for Knock, and getting that Knock is huge, because now I could eventually chip it down with U-turns and Hurricanes. So I actually feel like I'm just playing a really good game up to this point. So that's great. I get a U-turn off 3%. Any damage matters. I go Gliscor here. I take that Magma Storm. It does crit to 67, so I can't heal all the way up the fall if he stays in, or really in general. But that's fine, because if I recover here, I'm still outside of range of Zard Y and Sun. As you see, I get all the way up to near full, just not all the way at full. See, he's not Fire Blast modest, so I can always live a hit. I go Tangrowth here, and he goes Knock. And, I don't really get why he knocks all these times. I feel like Ice Crash is better, just because there's no way I'm risking trans leftovers. There's no way in hell. And Rodent W is into a kill range. And Iso Crash does similar damage to your Ninja. Knockoff specs isn't a big deal. You still have a full health Finny at this point. So I'm really happy with getting that Rock Helmet off, but I was just kind of there to make sure he locked into Iso Crash, because I do take half from that. But whatever. He Rock Helmets now he's at 28%, so I could take it out with Water Shuriken from Greninja if that ever comes into play, which is cool. I go for mid ground and I go Gliscor. In hindsight, Giga Draining would have been fine there. Anyway, I go Rodent W here into U-turn. I was so sure he'd just click Rocks. Or switch out, but he went for U-turn. In hindsight, U-turn was actually his best play. I don't want to say this is a misplay, just because if I get this in on Rocks, then I could get a Pain Split off, and Pain Split covers everything besides Weavile. And I don't think he's going Weavile, because risking that at this point, he seems really positioned on bringing it as many times as he can, so I don't think he'd risk it from dying there. So I was really happy with that play. It's just he got the better end. So it was a nice turn by him U-turning there, pressuring me. So he brings Zard Y in. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pivot to Tornado T here, but he's probably going to flame some in flame range. So I U-turn. Flame does low damage, which is cool, but I still can't live 2, so I just fought off the Tornado, the Rotom Wash here. And for some reason, actually, Focus Blast was fine. He still had 5 PP left at this point, but if he was in low PP, that would have been great. But yeah, wasting another is cool. Now I go for Stealth Rock here, knowing he's not going to let me take a Toxic. And now he goes for Defog, as I can go for Taunt here. And I'm like, okay, if it's not Fog Kartana, because with Corkscrew Crash, the point of using Corkscrew Crash is you really need it with Swords Dance, because otherwise you can't take out things like Bulky Magearnet at +2, or Zapdos at +2 after Stealth Rock if it's a bit quicker, or even Tangrowth at +2. You can potentially take out its Office variants, not Rock Helmet variants though. But yeah, I think that Corkscrew Crash without Swords Dance makes little sense. I'm like, maybe he's only got one Defogger. Maybe it's Stealth Rock plus Defog, Lander's T with Earthquake, Defog as the last 2 moves. So I'm like, okay, getting a taunt here is crucial because I can get rocks up. Scald only doing a 3rd health. After the Scald, I easily live Focus Blast from Zard, barring crit. So now I can go to Gliscor here, shrug off that Scald, and I'm fairly certain I'm quicker because I hit 260 like 4 or something like that. So I get Roost up, but he brings in this. I'm like, okay, hopefully he just recovers up and doesn't defog, because keeping rocks up is so crucial. But he reveals defog here, and my heart sinks. I mean, Z-Steel defog it doesn't make much sense. Like, it's not a really coherent set. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to expect from this dude anymore. I'm just gonna play what's in front of me and try and outplay as much as I can. He goes Trandair, so I get Hurricane. Again, that's 12% chip. That's huge. He's max special defense, but that's fine. And it's not rocks. So I actually go Heat Train here, predicting a Magma Storm, because I don't want to risk getting crit multiple times. And also, this scouts out if he's got Earth Power, and he doesn't reveal it yet. I don't know if he has it at this point, but I get Gliscor in there, and now he goes to Finny, gets the Scald off, gets crit, no big deal. I'm still regen up. He goes Landorus here as I go Gliscor. Good play by him. I just really need to cover for Zardo. I can't let him get in. I Earthquake there just in case he switches, but I know I'm faster and he's going to go Rocks on or U-turn all liquids, so it doesn't matter. And now I just defog. I didn't want to waste all my defog PP, although in hindsight that really didn't come into play. So defog to begin with was fine because Earthquake PP was more valuable. He goes Weavile here, and at this point I'm still scared. I can't lose Gliscor, so I go Greninja as a bit of a mid-ground. So I know I could set up spikes and try to force a sequence here. He goes Crash, 36, so it's probably Adamant Scarf. I forget the roll on top of my head. I did calc. I was calcing every turn pretty much. I go Tornado's T, and he goes Defog. I'm like, okay, give me a knock on this. That'd be so clutch. But he goes Zard Y. Do I knock? Yeah, I knock. I do 20. That's chill. Um, Now he goes Heatran on the Hurricane. I guess just scared. I don't know, but Heatran Magnustorm's do a number to Gliscor, so dodging would be really great here. But he does connect. It does 68, which is the same he did with the crit before, which is fine. So they could roost us off, and he was starting the Earthquake, and he switches out. In hindsight, I think he should have went for Magnustorm there, but getting card in is fair. It's just card doesn't really do much directly, so he's gonna have to like double out here if he wants to make progress. But instead, he recovers up to full, which doesn't really do him much good because it's still dying the Torn. Now he goes Heatran here, and I Hurricane again. I don't want to give it Flash Fire Boost despite being Heat Wave. It's now to the 38, so a couple more of these sequences is going to be dead. It's 35 with the U-turn. I go Gliscor. Hits another Magnustorm, but it only does 40. It's not 55. And I still have 13 roosts left, 12 after this turn, but still, I feel actually pretty comfortable given how this game is played, but I'm still really weak to Zard Y. I just defog here because, again, I don't need to waste that. U-turn doesn't outdamage Poison Heal, and he goes back to Weavile. So I could help play this again, or just say, okay, I'm fine letting Tangrate more than Regenerator. And he goes for a knock again, which, like, dude, it can't be more obvious at this point. This time around, I Earthquake predicting Heatran getting greedy, but unfortunately it doesn't work. So I go right back to Gliscor knowing, okay, that's fine. He goes for U-turn, doesn't even bother with rocks. Getting Weavile in, I'm like, okay, here we go again. I mean, you probably know what I'm going to. But he actually doubles his RY this time. So as I go Tangrowth, he finally gets me. And now I go Train here, predicting the Flamethrower. I get that right. And I'm easily out of Focus Blast range from this point. So I can go for Toxic. Do I go for Toxic or Rocks? I can't remember here. I go for Toxic. That's fine. The Sun's up, so Skull doesn't really do shit to me. So I'm still outside of Focus range. See, it's a 16%. I'm a really specially defensive E-Tran. He defogs. I think I taunt here. And Sun runs out. I don't know if I let myself take into the Skull here. I can't remember. Yeah, I do. And I just Stealth Rock here. And now I think I just go Gliscor, knowing that he can't 2-kill me with Skull, Barn Crits. But he goes Moonblast, which I guess is predicting Tangrowth. I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense, honestly. And now I double Tornado's T. I see Scald. He was fine letting it take a Toxic, which was a real bad play, but it worked. And then I get the knockoff. So now all of a sudden the Greninja is a threat because this is knocked off. See defogs. Now he goes to the Heatran. Let's take another Hurricane, which is fine by me. And I feel like his team's just slowly being chipped down, and he's not aggressive enough to make enough plays to win. So I feel like I'm actually in the driver's seat despite being down 5-6 and still facing that Menace of Azard, Y, and Weavile. So I roost here up the fault, and again, I think Tangrowth is just a fine middle ground, right? Do I go? No, I think he goes Zard Y here. Yeah. Oh, I call it with Heatran saying, okay, he went Zard Y last time, and I feel like he's trying to catch on my Tangrowth. So if he doesn't go Zard Y, he's probably going to Ice Crash. So I get my train there, and at 64, he needs either a 1 or 2 and 16 roll. I can't remember to kill me with Focus Blast, given my special defense investment, but he misses. And yeah, it sucks he misses, but letting this take Toxic, that's just bad play. I'm sorry, but that was poor. Um, yeah, it sucks he missed both, but A, I've missed numerous Hurricanes against this Y. B, that one didn't kill and the one before didn't kill. If he either one of them, the game would have been entirely differently, no doubt, but I don't think I'd really be in a super losing position. And C, he risked something there that he really didn't need to. It wouldn't have killed. And I probably could have left over his back up a little bit, or at least forced stuff, because Lava Plume gets annoying once his strand gets slow for him. And getting Toxic in his Zard is basically a huge win condition for me. So he misses there, which sucks, but now I'm really winning this game, and I feel like he's went out of his way to risk things he didn't need. So I go Tornado T here. I see Focus Blast again. That one connects for 15. That's fine by me. Again, I missed Hurricane. It wouldn't have killed there, but it would have left him under 10% for roosting up, and then he'd be below half after the poison. I miss again, but I guess this is just evening out for the turns with the Focus Blasts. But I'm fine with that. I U-turn here. I see he goes Fran, which is fine, so I can go Greninja. Now he goes Finny. I think I just Dark Pulse. Yeah. So I do 18 for that. Now I know he's definitely slower than Gliscor, given how special defensive he is. I go Tornadoes on his Scald. I don't mind taking a burn at all, because I have damage regenerator. Thankfully, he doesn't burn me, though. I U-turn here, now I go Tangrowth. Same thing, I don't mind to burn, but terrain's up, so he can't burn this. It's grounded. He goes RY here, and I think I just go Tornadoes T back, yeah, to try and pressure it. So again, I can fire off Hurricanes if I want to. I miss again, which, again, I don't mind this. But yeah, no one can really say that I got luckier in this game at this point, I'd say. Um, I go U-turn, and thankfully, I think I catch the flame here. Yeah, so I've been just outplaying circles around Nizard Y and Weavile at this point, and I'm well out of focus range this time. I go back to an HT, he goes for focus anyway. Um, so I'm at 84 now, and I think here I just Hurricane I miss, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't want to take a Toxic Dose, so I U-turn. I do 4% to it. So now he's in Hurricane range for the next time around, and I go Gliscors. Finally, he misses the Magma Storm, which is cool for me, but I think he's probably going to go back to Landorus. Unfortunately, I don't capitalize on that, but it's okay, it's fine. He goes for a U-turn here. Only want to take one turn Toxic, which makes a lot of sense, and brings back Weavile. This time around, I go Tangrowth, and finally he Ice Crashes, which he should have been doing all along, in my opinion. So now he goes Zard Y, and I just Giga Drain into it, knowing I wanted to kill that Weavile if he finished. And now I think I go for Earthquake on the Roost. No, not this time. I go Tornado C here on the Roost. Yeah, I don't want to risk it yet with the Weavile still being alive. Yeah, that's right. Now I go for Heat Wave, just wanted to force chip on it, force it to be low, and force Roosts, because I kind of can stall the Roost PP at this point and play around this. And also, he only has two focus left, so eventually Trans going to hard wall it. So Toxic chips down as I miss another Hurricane. I U-turn here, and I'm like, okay, if he goes for Flame, that's fine. But I'm fairly certain he's going to go for Rooster Focus, and he goes for Roost. So that's great. I get my Gliscor in, and he goes Landorus here. As I go back to an T, and after Toxic, a Max Roll Hurricane might kill if he's got max HP, but it doesn't matter because I miss again without the Sun, which again is fine with me. Now he goes Heatran, and finally I connect. So despite running low on Hurricane PP, Svaldo's misses. It's fine. He goes Weavile here as I go back to Greninja, knowing, okay, that's fine. I live any hit after Stealth Rock, so I can just Water Shuriken this, and if he goes Finny, no big deal. So I get the Water Shuriken off, and then after this, I'm like, okay, wait. He doesn't really want Finny to let in the Gliscor to get a defog off, or to let in the Tangrowth 3-gen round, or even the Tornado C. So I feel like he's going to double right back to Zard wide and pressure all of those things while he has Rock Step to try and seize that position. So I go for another Water Stricken, but instead he goes Weavile, which is even better because I kill that shit. Um, and now I've got Astro Ninja that lives rocks. I'm like, wow, I'm really in the driver's seat here. I'm so happy with that positioning here. Now I go Tangrowth here, predicting a taunt, and he goes for Scald. That's fine, same difference. Um, then he goes Zard Y. I think this is the time I Giga Drain into it, and then I Earthquake predicting a Roost, just saying, okay, I don't need this at all. And he goes for Focus Blast instead. I live the Focus Blast. I don't know the role. I do have a little special defense, but not a ton. Now I go Tornado T here, predicting just non-crit fire move. I kind of thought he'd go for Roost there, but he didn't. He lets it low. I use in here knowing I don't want to risk Hurricane. I go Tangrowth, foddering that off is for the best. He goes Flamethrower, and we both die, and that's fine. It puts us in me in a 4-3 position. I feel like he really didn't get much out of that Zard Y, despite it tormenting my team. So I feel like he just didn't handle it optimally. I get U-turn there, which is now chipping down to Finny, because chipping things down was pretty much what this team did. And he goes Moonblasts, which I don't know what it was for. Maybe Greninja. Why would I go for Moonblast? Whatever. I get a defog off as he goes for Skull. Thankfully, no crits. So really, all I needed was not to get crit. I could roost this off now. Stalling the Misty Train, but yeah, I just do that again and again. And finally, we get to the point where Misty Train runs out in the turn after this. I'm not sure what I do again. I know I roost here, yeah. He's just sitting there scalding at this point, which is fine by me. Um, Now I go to an Edge 2 predicting a switch to cart, and he goes Landers instead. It's in Hurricane range for sure at this point, which is great for me. And I connect this time, which is great. Preventing him from pitch barreling up, but he can't really do much to me, and all I could give him a set. Now I go U-turn into Finny, and he says good game and forfeits. So 116 games where the pressure was on me probably for about 100 of those. I managed to outmaneuver the Zard Y into weave. Honestly, this was one of my best played games ever. I was so pumped after this. I was so proud of myself for how I piloted this team in this game. It was a really hard matchup, but I played well. Um, as for my opponent, definitely not a ton of bad plays, but a couple that slipped through the cracks for him. I can't help but think he could have done better if he didn't let as many things get chipped as quickly as he did in the long haul of the games. But after all, I feel like I really stand out by my long game gameplay and analysis. So maybe this is just how it was meant to be in this series, in this game in particular for me. Either way, I'm happy to lead 1-0. I'm going to pause for a sec and then get into game two. Alright, guys, we're back with game two. This time around, I'm using a team with Mega Metagross, with Meteor Mash, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Hammer Arm. I really like this set against his balances in general. There wasn't a ton of data to go off with Corazan Generation 6, unfortunately. We did play once in regular season, and I beat him there in a close game, but I didn't really know what to expect. I just thought he'd use balance, really. Balance or bulky offense. Nothing out of the ordinary. So I really like the set here. Calm Mind plus Flamethrower Clef just because I have no removal, so pressuring Pharaoh and Drill is great. On top of that, it's really good against Mega STour, which this team, besides Heat Whip Tornadoes T and this Flame Clef, isn't great against, so it's always good. I ran a really cool Gliscor, a set that is very much not mine, but is seldom utilized in the modern or SOU metagame. It's Adamant with Ice Fang on Swords Dance. So Swords Dance, Earthquake, Ice Fang, Roost. Ice Fang is EV to always kill a opposing Gliscor +2, but also Earthquake damage. It does a ton to things like Slowbro if they're combined with that Ice Beam, forcing the Mega Evolution really quickly so then Mega Metagross can pry on it and Ferrothorn once Ferrothorn has his up. Also does a lot to Fable. You could probably kill like a Mega Tyranitar, which I'm expecting in this team because he's no other Mega at +2, especially with Stealth Rocks, which regular one couldn't do, which is cool. Yeah, so that's really cool. Sorry, let me get some water there. As for Tornadoes T, I ran an interesting set. I'm Assault Vest is per normal, but I don't have Hurricane. I have Smackdown for Zard Y and Volcarona because unlike SM, I'm actually weak to Zard Y a lot in this metagame. No talk specs. It's really either I bring Alteria's doll or I'm weak to Zard Y, honestly. So I thought I'd be conscious to prepare for that. So I'm running Smackdown. Also helps with Volcarona, which I don't think he's going to use, but never know. I also have Heat Wave for Mega Scizor and for Mega Metagross. I guess it also it's Drill as well, though Knockoff is great against Drill in the early game. And U-Turn is my last move. I've got Spikes, Stealth Rock, Leech, Whip, which is pretty standard, especially defensive oriented. And last but not least, Rocky Helmet, Slowbro with Scald, Toxic Thunderwave, Slack Off. Dual stats is really great. You can T-Wave things like Clefable and T-Wave things like Zard Y, potentially. So it's really cool, helping slow them down. You could Toxic things like Rotom or opposing Slowbro or Mega Latias trying to set up, so on and so forth. Also, Thunderwave is my main out against Reuniclus. So I could set up with it in 1v1 with Gliscor or Metagross or Clefable, as without Thunderwave it's going to be hard. So yeah, dual status was not only needed here, but also just really cool. So looking at his team, I noticed right off the bat it was Mega Tyranitar. So I know that once I know what Stealth Rock has, I could kind of determine the sets on the entire team. I figured it would not be Scarf anything on this team because it's Drill and Sand plus Tornadoes T is more than enough speed control, but it turned out to be Scarf Rotom W, which is fine and well. Without physically defensive Rotom W, though, he's really weak to Mega Metagross. So that's something that came into play in this game, but that's something we'll get into once we play the game itself. I knew it would be Megatar. I thought it could either be Rocks, which is standard, or if it's Rocks on Pharaoh or Drill, it had to be Dragon Dance. So that's something I was definitely scared of, because if it's Dragon Dance, then I kind of lose the game. Like if it ever comes in against Tornadoes T, or say Clefable when it's weakened, it could just set up once and just win the game on the spot, pretty much, if it's Crunch. And if it's not Crunch, then it just needs some chip on Bro and right moves, and it's fine anyway, because Pharaoh's really special defensive. If it's Fire Punch, Ice Punch takes out the other things, etc. So I'm really weak to Dragon Dance Megatar, so I was hoping it was going to be Rock's Megatar, but I wasn't really sure. And as for Clef, I was fairly certain it was going to be Life Orb on this team, in particular just because it's really weak to Gliscor, just because Rotom W is not a good Gliscor answer in this generation, plus Super Sad Tuikyo is even most physically defensive variant, and also Gliscor tends to be quicker. And if it's Scarf, it could come in once or twice, but it just gets worn out so quickly, especially by sand and rocks and taking attacks and whatnot. So that's cool. That's crucial. So I figured it'd be Life Orb, Ice Beam combined with probably physically defense, but the spread was really unclear to me. So yeah, let's get into the game right off the bat. I lead Tornadoes T because it's great against everything besides Tar and Rotom. Unfortunately, leads Rotom, but I want a U-turn here because I don't want to take a Volt Switch and then him Tar and potentially be Pursuit. So even if that would confirm he's not Dragon, there's no want to risk that. But he turns out to be Scarf there, so I get my Toxic Orb up here, which is great. And I know he's Scarf, so I can I double the Metagross here because I predict him to beat Life Orb, Ice Beam, Clefable, because it makes sense given the team structure. So I get Metagross in, and I know there's no way in hell he's staying in. So Hammer Arm hits this for a ton of damage because it's offensive. It's Scarf after all. It clocks Drill, and it clocks Pharaoh, and those are the only possible switch-ins to Meteor Mash. So I get a Hammer off here. It does 46%, which means it's potential to a kill. Now he goes Pharaoh Thorn here as I go my own Pharaoh Thorn. I know he's got removal and I don't, so I just go for rocks, and then I make my way out. I think I go Clef. It's Flame Clef after all, which is great. So spikes here, and now he goes to his own Clefable as I go for Flamethrower. Smart play, but it reveals he's Life Orb, which is pretty much what I suspected. I go to Torn to try and knock this off. He goes Drill here. Now, if it's a Jolly Drill, not an Adamant Drill, then I live Iron Head plus Burn really often. 1 second, let me find the exact roll. Yeah, so there's a 23% chance for him to 2 a kill from full. And I'm at a bit above 62.5. I'm at like 1 more HP than that. So probably like a 20 or like an 18.5, whatever, like the one last 1/16th roll chances for him to kill. So I'm like, okay, what I can do here is I can get a knockoff on this, and then I can hard switch out to Gliscor and preserve my Tornado's T to potentially get a knockoff on something like Rotom later or be fodder against something else. But unfortunately for me, he lands a critical hit here, which actually kind of sucks in the long haul because having this around to knock off something like the Clefable would be great because then my Clefable could 100% 1v1 it because I'm specially defensive and I've got T-Wave on Slowbro. So if I needed to do that, I could because my Metagross can be taking a ton of damage. Then I Meteor Mash here, and I don't know the Meteor Mash roll on Torn. I didn't actually calc it. Um, Let me see here, just out of curiosity. Metagross, Mega, Meteor Mash. Yeah, it's not likely. I don't think he had defense, but oh, it actually had a 56.3% chance. So if you factor in miss, it's basically 50-50 shot, and that's if he's max HP, which most of them are. But hey, that's fine. Because I don't have Ball Punch, I live any hit. Unfortunately, he's Heat Wave, which does a ton of me, but I still have any entry hazard, so that's chill. I wish I got the higher roll there, but if I had my Tornado's T or I got that roll, either or would have been fine. But not getting both kind of puts me back into a bit more of a neutral position, so I got to outplay again to get into a more favorable position again. And unfortunately for me, he brings one W in. So I go Ferrothorn here. And I think he predicts that and Wisps here. Yeah, and he connects. It's good for him. But that's fine for me ultimately because now I know he's locked into that, so I can go right to Gliscor, which is why Scarf W with Wisp is really bad, and or that's in my opinion, by the way. So I go this, and now he makes a really bad play, and he goes Clef. Um, and I do. I guess it's not really bad actually. Take that back. I did 48, but he didn't expect me to be the offensive variant to lure Gliscor. So you know what? He lived too neutral. Earthquake's almost always giving this down. So I take that back. He made the right play, but my surprise set came into play here, and it left him really low. Um, and Rotomosh is low, but I'm Ice Fang, so I can't let it it's not Pain Split. So thankfully I just can't let it in too many times basically. But that Earthquake damage is huge, and I feel like I'm ahead of the game despite I know it's Megatar because he revealed Rocks and Pharaoh, so I got to be really careful of DD Megatar. I go Clefable here predicting either a Trick or a Hydro Pump. He goes Hydro, it's only 28, so he's defensive Scarf. That's good for me. And now I go for Flamethrower, I think predicting Drill. Now I go Moonblast this time, I Flamethrower next time the sequence happens. That's fine with me. Because now after he spins, I believe he spins here. Yeah, I feel comfortable in just going for an Earthquake here to pressure it out. He goes Pharaoh because he's scared of potential Facade, although he's always run Ice Fang for attacks, so it kind of shoot him up. I go for another Earthquake here, so he goes straight over this time, which is good play. Now I go Pharaoh here, and I think he's scared again, so does he Hydra? Yeah, he Hydras and connects. Random W's got some nice glasses, like 2 Hydras, 2 Wisps. That's fine. In a way, me being lower is actually better. I get Rocks up to pressure that, and I don't mind letting this heal up because I can go to Slowbro immediately, and I can get Thunderwave off, and then Life Orb Moonblast isn't doing over half ever, and I know he's going to softball there. So what I can do is I get Thunderwave, and it actually is doing over half. So that means he's got significant special attack investment. I was expecting defensive Life Orb, which begs the question: how does this guy deal with Swords Dance, Facade, Gliscor? Like, what the hell? Because +2 is 2 killing this. It's like Ice Beam doesn't kill it, and 1 if it's specially defensive. It's just like, wow, this team is so weak to that. I'm shocked he's not bulky. But maybe he's got enough special attack to kill even a specially defensive. I mean, you need so much special attack to do that, and I don't think this role dictated it. I don't know his spreads, but either way, it's still, on average, it probably isn't doing much over half, so I could just slack off until I get a para. And thankfully I do on the first time, but yeah, again, there's no way that came into play. Um, so now he Moonblast, he does 41 to Clef, so it's like, yeah, this seems like almost max special attack, what the hell? I have Flamethrower here predicting the drill, and I get it done to 10%, so now he can't spin into Pharaoh, which is great, but I go Gliscor predicting him to Earthquake, particularly Pharaoh, as he goes Clef. And I don't want to take an Ice Beam this time, so I go to my own Clefable here as he fully powers again. That does suck for him, but he probably went for Ice Beam in all likelihood. I go Calm Mind here, just wanting to make sure he can't pressure me. He goes Moonblast, no drop, so I'm at 42. He goes Rotom Wash here as I Moonblast, predicting it, knowing I don't want to get tricked. And I think he got a little greedy there, but that's fine. He goes drill here. Now I feel comfortable firing off Ferrothorn. He goes to Fable, predicting that. Good play by him. But I can get up layer spikes here, which means drill can never come in again. And also, it puts Tara in range for Moonblast to potentially 3 KO, or Moonblast and Scald to potentially 3 KO, which is great. Or Earthquake, always 2 kills, but if I can do it either way because it's offensive. So, anyway, what happens here is I get spikes as he soft boiled. Good play. And now he goes hard tar. And I soft boiled up to full. I'm like, okay, it's Dragon Dance Tar, so I gotta just spam Moonblast here. Um, Reason being, I could have went hard bro, but I was scared it was Dragon Dance plus Crunch, so just staying in here is ideal. It's Rocky Helmet, so keep that in mind. He goes Dragon Dance here. I'm like, okay. And now he goes for Stone Edge. And seeing as he's not a Crunch variant, going for Stone Edge here was a huge choke on his part. Going for another Dragon Dance was better, because getting the second Dragon Dance means that he has an outside chance of killing Slowbro at +2 if I'm max physical defense. If I'm not, which a lot of teams don't run, a lot of teams run some special defense for Kelio and Clefable, then he could have just killed outright after the hazard. So I don't know how he went for another there, but he goes for the Dragon Dance there, and then he goes for Stone Age here. Does 85, which is fine by me. And I Moonblast again, so now that puts him in Rocky Helmet range. So now this is a really complex turn. We both take like 2 minutes this turn to think it through. But basically, what it is you're seeing is this is paralyzed and this is dead. If I kill this Tyranitar, then my Clefable is very favored to win the game because I 1v1 a paralyzed Clefable far often than not. B, I'm specially defensive, so even if he does a little more on average, I'm still taking a ton, and he's got like no bulk, so favorite to win. And see, I have Metagross in the back, which, yeah, it dies into Iron Barbs into Pharaoh, but that could be potentially giving my Gliscor a chance to come in and whatnot. However, I know here I have to fodder off one of Gliscor or Metagross, so I've got to pick which one. Now, here's the thought process. If I fodder off Metagross, then I go Slowbro, I Scald to kill this, then, sorry, I need a sip of water. Then I have Gliscor, but I know it's Ice Beam and like ton of special attack, so it's killing my offensive Gliscor because he knows I'm adamant at this point, giving that damage. And one hit with Ice Beam, he has to be Ice Beam. So, I know Gliscor can't do much against Clef Bar and Paras. He has to do about half with Earthquake, but still. Also, if it's Leech plus Whip on a Pharaoh, then that could get annoying as well. So I know that's not really too vital. And also Metagross, even if I Meteor Mash into Pharaoh, that means I die, so I can now get my Clefable in on the Paralyzed Pharaoh, and he's sure as hell Power Whip on this team. He's not Gyro Ball because his only check to the Kelly right now is Tornadus T. So he needs Power Whip on this, definitely. Also, Gyro Ball is just really bad in ORS in general because so many teams have paralysis and spreading on their team. So what I was thinking is that I could go Metagross on the Clef potentially if I need to, and Meteor Mash, and that'd give me a free chance to heal up my Clefable and get a leg up on the Combine War, which, again, very favorable for me, and that's absolute worst case scenario. If I get Timely Powers, I just win. So that coupled with the fact that I'd have Slowbro alive, so I had an extra fodder. And also, I could potentially Hammer Arm into Ferrothorn, whole other slew of things. And I mean, this was on top of the fact that if I got the roll before, then my Metagross would be so much healthier, it wouldn't have taken the wave, and then I'd just win the game. Or the fact that he got the crit on my Tornadus T, which if I had that around, I could have knocked off the Life Orb on Clefable. So there's so many things that come in, basically giving the only chance to win, because I suffocated this Dragon Dance Tyranitar all game as well as I did. So I fodder up the Gliscor ultimately, as that was my play after taking like 3 minutes to think that through. He goes Ice Punch, it would have killed Clef anyway, smart play. So now I go Slowbro here, and since he's not a +2, he doesn't have any chance to kill without a crit. +2 again, it was only like a 2 or 3 and 16 chance of killing. I think max was like 77% damage, so I'm at 76. Yeah, probably like that. That coupled with the fact that he didn't go over to the second Dragon Dance, so it doesn't matter. He needs a crit to kill. If he's crunched, that's fine, he kills me, but he takes Rocky Helmet and dies. And he gets the crit. So I lose. And this just, it sucked because against McMegan last Smog Tour, I had game 2 won like well over 90% of the time, well over 95% of the time, and he got lucky. But this time around, I clutched game 1. I won that. I pulled off that heroic game 1, so I still have a chance in game 3. And then then he brings this team, and I'm baffled by this team choice because my most common team in replays is hit power down plus Excadrill, and there's not just one variant. There's like 3 or 4 variants of that. Like, and yeah, he has Balloon Aegis Slash, but overall, I just shred Iber offense with those teams. I even have Toxic Spikes, which hits half his team with my packs on most of those teams. It's like makes no sense. And to add on to injury, I almost always on like Corviknight Balance run Brave Bird. And on this team, I'm running Body Press U-Turn, no Brave Bird, because I didn't expect Conk, and also I have other outs against it. And it's just like, fuck, like, the one time I'm weak type offense, the one time ever. Like, I always actually prepared for this. I didn't think he'd use it because he never had any of it in his replays. The only hyper offense he had in his replays was this one rain team, which I didn't expect him to use either. Was this. And it's like, fuck, why is he using this? It makes no sense. It's like, none of this in the the SM team, they neither made any sense against me, and he used them. It's just it feels so weird. But I'm like, fuck, like I should have won this series too handily. He choked both games, and I outplayed both games, and now I'm like up against this like really absolute dire match of game 3. It's like it kills me, but I know I can still win if his sets aren't like specifically good against my team. But I've got to play those outs, and unfortunately, he's lead Terrakion, not Drill, which sucks because I'm offensive size, so I can at least bring him down to Sash with this. But now he gets to kill always. I got to pick something to fodder. Um, Ultimately, it's Seismitoad just because it's not a bulky Seismitoad, so it's not living anything. So I can go to Zero Aura, and I can kill this with Knock, which is great. Um, I get knockoff there, which is good. And he goes Drill here. It's Scarf Drill on this team. So I can go to Corviknight here. And what really annoys me is that he stays in a Dragon Dances here. Um, like, if this guy did any scouting at all, he knows literally every Corviknight I ran prior to this game was 190 speed with Brave Bird for Conkeldurr, because I'm really paranoid about Conkeldurr and my balances. This is a bulky offensive team. There's a lot more pressure for Conkeldurr naturally. Everything besides Incineroar is pretty solid against it in terms of damaging it, pressuring it. And also, I have some physical defense on my Cleft Always Level Facade. But, like, this team is very different than my norm. Like, I branched out here and using, like, Incineroar, non-Wishclef, etc., and this pivot Corviknight instead of Brave Bird. And it's just like him not respecting Brave Bird and going for Dragon Dance here. It's like I don't get it. I guess because like if he got away with that and just like Brave Bird leaves him low and then he's Life Orb and like I could Revenge Call with Conk and just fire off something that's pretty useless like Clefable or Incineroar, then like it's like shit. I can't lose this game. Like I'm actually in a really favorable spot regardless. But unfortunately, I'm not Brave Bird, which also makes it useless against Dragapult and Aegis Slash. Just like fuck, you know. Not to mention a Lucha. It's just like dire matchup because the set and like he couldn't have prepared this team for me specifically. Like I feel like he just picked a random team, and that just bugs me even more. And yeah, you know what? I'm kind of ranting at this point, but this is my platform, my YouTube channel. I'm kind of entitled to because honestly, this is just kind of like out of left field dumbassery. Um, but whatever. He goes for Dragon Dance, and yeah, I don't have anything to deal with it. So I U-turn here. I go to Conk saying, okay, if he's not adamant Life Orb, I still have a really good chance of living this close combat. And I don't know if he's Jolly or if he's adamant, but if he's adamant, then he's killing. Yeah, almost always, if not always. But if he's Jolly, then this this really sucks that he got that because he's already gotten literally everything up to this point. But he gets the kill. I'm like, okay, so I wanted to go on Incineroar here to get the Intimidate off and then try and fuck around and maybe make some plays. But I misclick and I go Corviknight, but it doesn't really matter. There's a very slim chance I win this game at this point. He goes combat, so I know I live 2 after leftovers, even if he gets max damage. He does 69 there, so actually leads me to believe he's Jolly, so he got the roll, which annoys me further. But it could have been just min damage adamant. I don't know. Now I go on Incineroar here, which is what I meant to do pretty much. And I just let it go. Like, okay, fine. Now I can go Clefable, and I always live an Iron Head. He doesn't flinch, thankfully. So I get the kill. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like real dire, and he's Swords Dancing this. So I'm like, okay, I am T-Wave plus Encore. So if he has to use to get greedy here, maybe I have a chance. But no, he doesn't choke. He just goes for the Shadow Claw. Good play by him. Now I go Zero Aura. I could threaten this out, and I could kill the Dragapult in 2 hits. And what really doesn't make any sense here is he goes Drill here instead of just going hard Aegis Slash. When you could go Aegis Slash and you live any 2 hits, knocking a Plasma Fist, for example, and then just kill me. He goes Drill here. So, and then he doubles the Aegis Slash. And this was like a complete choke by him. Because, yeah, you could bait it in the Corviknight, but you win outright by doing this. So why risk the 50-50? Like, if I knocked off in the Aegis Slash here, or if he Earthquaked in the Corp here, he legitimately could have lost this game. And I guess at this point he's banking on me not being braver so he can sit up with Halucha against Corviknight, but I'm always U-turning. So, like, it's just like this unnecessary stuff. Like, he basically made this game boil down to a 50-50 despite this matchup and whatnot. And it's just really bothered me. Um, really, really bothered me. But yeah, he gets the 50-50 right, of course. Um, and he wins the game. Yeah, I can't win from here. He swords dances. Yeah, as you see, it did so little, so he could have lived the knockoff into a plasma fist, given that I only did 36, and that's that. This was really upsetting. Over the 8 years I played competitively, I've had a lot of unfortunate series and a lot of fortunate series. Um, Given how well I played this and how problematic these matchups were, it just felt like I deserved this series really badly. I played at my ceiling throughout this series, besides maybe a turn or two earlier on in this game, and even then there were uncertainties regarding his sets. It just really sucks because I was clearly the better player in this series, and this isn't a slight on Corazan. He's a really nice dude, although no offense given the series, he played all three games pretty poorly. That's just my honest opinion. Yes, I do get critical of players sometimes and when they play poorly, and that's just how I am here. That's my nature. I hold people to a high standard, and it sucked. This really sucked. I really wanted SmogTour, guys. After just my history, I really wanted this so badly, and it does sting. And just coupled with a really unfortunate draft loss that I'm going to cover and getting mad unlucky at Classic, it's been a rough year, especially since we got lucked so badly in SPL. I mean, it's just when does it stop? I guess, but I love the game, and despite all the shit it gives me, I love it, and I'll keep playing it. And I don't know if I'm going to keep playing Smog Tour. I probably am going to be willed into doing it. It's such an appealing format, but God, getting unfortunate time after time, it does suck. And I feel like yeah, I've made mistakes as a player before, historically, including in Smog Tour finals, which yeah, I got unlucky in, but I made a mistake. That was on me. There was clear to improve. This, I was playing at my peak, and I still lost to some really unfortunate shit, and that's just kind of demoralizing. That. Oh boy, it sucks. And I just, oh boy, this one, this was the one that got away, and it wasn't the one that got away because of something I did wrong either. God damn it. Um, but such is life. Such is the game we play. So I lost round one to Corazon, who genuinely just wasn't deserving. Sorry, man, just how it is that you see these games. And that's that. Good games. Good luck in future rounds, and I'm rooting for ABR to win the whole tournament. All right, guys. Really not the video I wanted to post today. Really not how I wish to feel. But so it is. So it goes. Bye, guys. Have a nice night.